start now. Hello, I'm Greg Sanders, Group Publisher at QSR Magazine, and I'd like to welcome you to today's webinar, Preparing to Meet the Demand for Drive-Thru. Since the onset of the pandemic, restaurants have pivoted to accommodate the rise of drive-thru and delivery. And from April 2020 to August 2020 alone, drive-thru visits jumped more than 45% across all customer segments, and today make up more than 70% of sales at many quick serves. So in this webinar today, we'll focus on how technology is enabling restaurants to elevate the drive-thru experience for customers and staff alike, as well as how operators can transform more traditional storefronts by implementing innovative drive-thru technology. So a couple of housekeeping notes before we get started. First, this session is being recorded, and we will let you know when the recording is available. Second, we will be taking your questions at the end of the program, and you can use the functionality on the webinar console to submit a question at any time. And now to begin, joining us today are Jay Gillespie, Principal Product Owner at Revel Systems, and Ken Neild, Chief Executive Officer of Delphi Display Systems. I'm going to turn it over to them to get started, and we are also going to begin with a quick poll. All right, Jay, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. This is Jay. Appreciate you joining us today. I'm going to go over the agenda a little quickly while you guys are filling out that poll. Some of the things we're going to talk about and cover today is sort of the look at what drive-thru is today, revisit that a little bit. What are the top drive-thru trends coming down the pike that Ken can elaborate on himself? What are the available add-ons if you're already using drive-thru right now or at least considering it? What are the different components that make up these drive-thrus and how to best use them? We're going to introduce you to Delphi, ultimately, which is our newest partner here at Revel Systems as well, industry leader. And then Ken and I will talk about the future of drive-thru and how we see that coming down the pike, okay? As a reminder, you can submit your questions in the Q&A throughout the event, and then we'll gather them at the end and try to answer as many as we can. So what I'll do now is let's take a look at the survey real quick. All right, what does it look like our business today? Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I guess most of you who are listening actually have a drive-thru but are looking to optimize it. But just, or actually, the vast majority of you here have some sort of semblance of drive-thru that you're offering or looking to best practices. So that's great. Well, that's why we're here. Looks like about 6% have one in place but are pretty happy with it. But it's still a good place for you to come find out some things. So that's great. Thanks for filling that out. All right. Well, I will move on. So one of the things we want to talk about here is just drive-thru here is here to stay, right? So the lines of restaurants now kind of blurred a little bit. There used to be we all used to look at restaurants in a very fractured way, verticals or table service, quick service, maybe even some sort of grocery, things along those lines that be mixed in there. The reality is we're all sort of, due to COVID, you can call it COVID, you can call it reality, it's just, the future of restaurants. Those lines are starting to blur in what constitutes these different types of restaurants. Drive-thru especially, right? So it used to be if you have a drive-thru, well, you're quote-unquote a fast food restaurant. That's not the case anymore. I don't think people even look at restaurants that way anymore now. So no matter what type of restaurant you are, you can offer a drive-thru, you can offer all types of products, and you're not pigeonholed into the fact that this is a fast food restaurant as well. The cars now that we all drive are like sanctuaries, right? The technological advancements and all the comforts you need, regardless of the price point, whether you're driving an $80,000 Suburban or a Hyundai, you get everything you need in there to live a comfortable life through technology. And that's where we tend to spend a lot more time in our cars now because they're more fun to be. And then flexibility, times like this from uncertainty or convenience becomes key. Flexibility and simplicity kind of seem to be what's the impenetrable force of the industry. And that's really about it. So, we've kind of moved up about 20 years in advancement technology in about a year in the restaurant industry and pivoted that way. So, Ken, why don't you chime in here too as well?
Yeah, I think to add on that, I think what we've seen over the last, this year, especially with driven by that pandemic, is our customers are telling us that they're getting up to 95% of their business through the drive-thru, given that a lot of them have dine-in has been closed or mostly closed. And so that's put a lot of pressure on how do you move more people through the drive-thru more efficiently, how do you serve more customers And so how do you balance your production inside to meet the demand outside? And so it's been a challenge across the board, driving all kinds of technologies to help to optimize the drive-through, not only efficiency, but just the entire consumer engagement process to that. So,
all right. And
anything else you want to add on that, Jay?
No, that's good on my part.
Okay.
So I'll let you sort of chime in on today's drive-through trends and where they're going.
Yeah, so some data from the latest QSR drive-through study, shows that customers prefer to have more engagement in the drive-through, and some of the key points from that were around the outdoor digital menus. We're seeing a big increase in adoption there, and for the first time, this year we saw really a demonstrated positive ROI on the technology. For years past, it's been quite expensive to adopt that technology, and now that we're seeing the prices drop there and the ROI improve as a result. So we're seeing more of that, which helps, again, gauge your customers through the drive-through and inform them of all kinds of new product offerings, LTOs, things like that, where you can help drive your business and inform the customer and move them through the drive-through quicker. Anything you want to add on that, Jay?
No, that's a good. That makes perfect sense. It's a good point. So, I'll talk a little bit about drive-through is going digital, of course, which that's kind of the trend. Everything's going digital, right? So drive-through is no different. Whether it's like we were talking about drive-throughs or even like drive-ups for curbside pickup, digital communication is kind of how your brand now interacts with your existing customers, future customers. Not just menu boards, text messaging, and super friendly mobile online ordering. That kind of makes this whole experience much easier, either through the parking lot or if you have limited space, the drive-through. Having the right tech stack partners is key for you in your future plans. People that can offer this whole entire digital first impression experience for your customers is key. What I want to talk about a little bit is about how not all drive-throughs look the same, right? So oftentimes especially consumers, even when they think of drive-through, they think of McDonald's or Wendy's. That's certainly not the case. I mean, the flexibility is kind of key here, which is I'll get to a little bit later when we start talking about why we chose Delphi. But also, we want to kind of point out that when you start thinking about drive-through for your business, don't just think about it in the traditional sense, right? There's multiple different ways to do this. You can use digital menu boards and digital signage with some timers and a headset, right? You can use the curbside pickup features that many technology companies like Revel are starting to offer now that offer the drive-up solution as well. Or you can offer the order confirmation boards, which we've integrated with Delphi that help speed of service, help with order accuracy, and all those things that you want to do. You can do all of those things. You can do a combination of those things. One size does not fit all. Your space, your build out of your business, where you may be located, whether in a city or suburb, all these things factor into play here. And not all. I just want to talk about get outside the mindset that your drive-through has to be competitive with the most advanced options. It can be. It certainly could be, depending on how much volume you're trying to drive to that drive-through. But ultimate flexibility is key for you guys. On that,
I would add that.
Go ahead, Ken. Yeah, please chime in.
I would just add that we've seen just many different drive-through configurations where we have literally customers that have just a window to pull up to and order at the window and move on. We have customers that are adding multiple lanes. So multiple parallel lanes, Y lanes. We even have a customer on the East Coast that set up 5 drive-through lanes in their parking lot to accommodate the demand in their business as a result of their dining room being closed. So I just think, as Jay said, there's a lot of options to configure. There's certainly no one solution that works for everybody. So there's just about every configuration you can imagine is out there today.
That's absolutely true. Yeah, exactly. One size does not fit all when it comes to this. Some of the simpler solutions now are what's called Linebusters, right? Mobile order takers with mobile payment devices, outdoor access points that are coordinated with your kitchen display and printer. You can offer curbside pickup through this way, but it's really about meeting your customers where they are, not necessarily them coming to meet you where you are, as was historically. And even, again, COVID aside, this is just moments that are happening and that were already happening. These are movements that were already happening. You are having to go find your customers and bring them, draw them in. You're having to meet your customers off-premise more and more and more. And this is still off-premise. You're still leaving your building and going out and talking to them. So if you're a business right now and you're considering, well, how do I handle this new features? I'm not able to open my dining room yet, or if I do open my dining room, consumer trends have changed, right? How do I fix this? So Linebusters are a solution here, right? They're easy. They're easy to implement. They're, from a Revel standpoint, it's all one solution. So the order interface is absolutely the same. So it's a challenge, when you're talking about your employees being order takers inside, potentially maybe working the line one day, maybe taking phone orders one day, and then next day you want them out in the parking lot, having the same interface that they engage with over and over and over again, and not a mixture of third-party solutions that sometimes what occurs when we're talking about Linebusters is really key, right? They can grab that tablet, it's a mobile order taker, it looks the same as it does inside. They can do many different things they want. And the implementation of these kinds of products are easier and easier as we move forward, and especially as footprints start to get hard to manage. This is really something that you can bring on pretty easily and pretty quickly. That helps for order accuracy.
Yeah, I'll add just to that. We developed a solution for a customer this year during the winter where they're exactly using this solution, Linebusters, out there in the drive-thru. But of course, when it was below zero out, they couldn't have employees out there, so that we developed a kind of a video chat kiosk for them to so the employees could be inside the store but using the same Linebuster tablets, but they're communicating via two-way video chat to the customer outside. It's just another example of how you can leverage technology to keep driving your business, even in bad weather conditions or when things change in your kind of environment.
Absolutely, yeah. Flexibility is key. Multiple ways to, you guys have about 100 different channels coming in now from different sources of revenue, whether you're using the third parties, you name it. You have 10 to 12 or a dozen, more than a dozen different ways in which you're trying to drive revenue out of your business. So flexibility is pretty key here. So one thing I'll talk about, how the solutions must meet what are your new needs, right? Digital order injection and real-time data integration. What do we kind of mean by that? What I mean by that essentially is tight integrations. Tight integrations with partners like Delphi and others are key for any technology partner that you're working with, right? They can grow, they can move fast as you move fast and as you want to change your business model in the future. Advanced kitchen routing and display features is also key, and how you fulfill these orders, where you fulfill them, has to be super flexible and easy to use, right? You might have to dedicate an entire section of your restaurant to these types of things, and you want to be able to easily color code, easily route, easily modify, and understand what types of orders are coming in. And a modern, easy-to-use kitchen display is certainly capable of that, mixed with your printers, of course, as well, for easy fulfillment. But having all the information that you need on these devices is key. Advanced customer order confirmation, order ready screen, right? So you've probably seen some of these in the past. Some of the, you've seen these larger brands who've been using order up screens, order ready screens for years. I think we're all becoming more accustomed to this event, where we're sort of low contact or non-contact fulfillment of the order. So so I think there's a key to be able to make sure that they're tightly integrated. In this case, with Revel, they're absolutely something we built ourselves, that something that you can use right away that can actually take that low contact feeling out of it. You can actually tell people if their order's being made and when it's ready as well, inside or outside. And then the standard API, so tight APIs that the technology partner should have that can, again, grow with your business, look at multiple partners as you want to incorporate more and more of these types of things. Standard APIs are really key. It makes it easy to use. And of course, everything has to be cloud enabled. You have to be able to access your stuff anywhere, anytime, whether in the store or off the store. The off-premise part of this is not just the fulfillment part. It's also the ability for reporting and understanding and implementation of these products as well in the cloud. So I was, Ken, if you don't have anything to add to that, I'm going to jump to the next one and welcome you guys. So I want to talk about, why we chose Delphi a little bit. Number one is the industry leader. You guys have run, if you've gone to a drive-thru, at least here in the States or even abroad, you've seen their products, right? No matter, all the major brands use them, of course, but we wanted to integrate with a tight integration with an industry leader like Delphi that can provide the flexibility and ease of use technology that our customers are going to need in the future. So flexibility is key, and they offer it, and we want to make sure that we weren't just offering a one-size-fits-all solution for our customers, that if we worked with a partner, that they were more flexible, they could offer multiple different ways in which you can bring on a drive-through and give their tools that they need to be a one-stop integration like that. So it's, number one, get the best in class. Number two, work with somebody who's starting to advance the technology in the future. Well, this is what they focus on, drive-through. This is what they focused on for many years, and this is why they're the best in the breed at it. So that's why we chose Delphi again as well. On that note, I will pass it off to Ken to talk about Delphi Solutions and Services.
Great. Well, I appreciate, again, the opportunity to participate today and welcome everybody to the webinar. So, we've been in the business a long time, and we focus really on drive-through technology solutions to help our customers engage with their customers and help them optimize, their service through the drive-through. So kind of on the front end and the back end, and we do that through order confirmation boards you've seen pretty much everywhere, and drive-through timing systems. We are really focusing this year on digital menus, really outdoor solutions, launching new solutions coming up this quarter that have some new features that we can really grow the drive-through to the next level going forward. And then we bundle in wireless headset communications and video chat systems, as I mentioned, and then provide that kind of, as Jay mentioned, our solutions are cloud-enabled, and we allow customers to get pull reporting across the enterprise, see who's doing well, and then we have timing systems and ranking systems that allow them to kind of compete on a certain speed of service metrics or sales or whatever they can integrate with their system. So, but the other day is, we're here to help customers, build their drive-throughs, optimize them in the right way, and help drive more customer engagement through the drive-through. So happy to help in any way, and again, appreciate the opportunity. And Revel's been a great partner. We've integrated with a lot of point-of-sale solutions over the years, as you can imagine, and Revel being completely cloud-based has made the integration really clean, smooth, and allows us to integrate digital menus and dynamic pricing overlays and dynamic content and things like that are tightly integrated with the point of sale going forward. So it's partners like that that really help kind of drive these solutions to the next level. And as he mentioned, having great integration between these platforms means more seamless functionality for the customer, less headaches and problems all around. So that's what we're about, and excited to be partnering with Revel on these opportunities.
That's exactly right. When Revel looks at something like this and they go, okay, drive-through is going to have to be a big part of what our customers need to start looking at as they grow from 2 to 3 to 20 locations. They're going to have to incorporate some knowledge, some capabilities of this. What do we look at? Who's the best in the business at this, and then we go work with them rather than try to decide ourselves. Right? You guys have a lot more years of experience doing this than we do. On that note, I'll let you talk a little bit about your solution in Revel as well.
Yeah, I mean, we just put a couple examples here, but we really focus on solutions, not just selling specific products to customers. We've seen the industry shift over the last 5 to 10 years from looking for the best kind of specific solutions. Now, our customers are telling us they want a full solution from a supplier that can provide all those technologies that are integrated together, and they have a single place to go for support upgrades and things going forward. And I just put an example here of a new concept that we did here in California, where we did indoor and outdoor menus, we did pre-sell, we did integrated order confirmation headsets, timing systems, 4K promotional displays throughout the store, indoor menu boards as well. And it was one of those, an example of pretty much everything we do in one customer location. In addition to that, we helped them design their drive-through and optimize that for the amount of traffic, the experience they wanted, and lay that out from the ground up. So what we can help with is just help optimize your existing solution, or help you if you're looking to add drive-through or expand your drive-through lanes, and then integrate those solutions so that everything works together seamlessly, and then you can have an experience for your customers that drives more consumers, drives sales, and helps you reduce your implementation and delivery costs as well.
That's exactly right. I mean, we want to limit the duplicate work, right? So especially with an integration. We want you to manage your menus in Revel, right? We want that information to flow, find its way to the Delphi Solutions. So you're really, having to do a spot in one place. You change a menu price, when you're talking about the order confirmation boards, that automatically shows up, right? When you're talking about all of your discounts and multi-programs, things along those lines, having a tight integration means still have one place you need to go. You have enough to manage, right? So that's why we want to build something. That's why we built something like this.
Right.
Talk about a little bit about the future here. As I mentioned before at the start, our cars are kind of like technological wonders now. I know it's not news, but when you're talking about drive-throughs and drive-throughs kind of remaining, 70% of fast food or some of our businesses now, or their businesses run through drive-through. Now it'll come down, but it's not going to come back down to it's not going to come below 40% or something like that. So if you're offering a drive-through solution now, that's going to just keep going, right? Consumer trends have changed. They've changed for a number of different reasons. One of them being I don't need to get out of my car now. I like being in there. There's everything I need in there. It's a technological wonder. I've got all my podcasts, everything I want to do in there. It's super comfortable. My kids don't want to get out. So, that's going to remain the same, right? I don't think that's going away. And the larger concepts are already starting to experiment with these small footprints, more, smaller buildings, larger drive-throughs, to really kind of focus heavily on off-premise more and more and more. So SMBs are going to have to catch up as well, because those guys might drive the trends. Typically SMBs, can sometimes follow behind. In this case, we want to make sure you guys are keeping up, or at least maybe even being ahead of the curve when it comes to these. And you guys can think about how you can be better than some of the larger brands. Simplicity in menu offerings, I think, is going to be very key for the future. I think if you look around, the most popular drive-throughs and solutions and businesses that are around our country especially and around the world are people who offer very simple, easy to understand menus. And you got to think about that when you're incorporating drive-through. How do I because number one, speed of service. Number two, just easy. It's just easier for me as a consumer to understand. I want to come up and I want to see 10 things. Maybe more, maybe less, but I mean, you know what I mean? I don't want to be too confused when I go up to the drive-thru. So I think the simplicity of menus and being able to modify and adjust your menu boards in a digital fashion as well, being able to think quickly on your feet. If you're out of a product, being able to remove it from that menu board quickly and easily is key as well. And that's the future state that you have to be able to do. Because, off-premise dining has changed more this year than it has in the last 20 years, right? It's just a massive shift this way. So everything's going off-premise. Restaurant prices are going to rise in the coming months, right? I think we're all going to have to realize that your prices are going to rise. Drive-thru tends to provide an easier way to move product with less cost of goods sold on it, due to basically the nature of the products that you're selling, right? So if you're going to do more than 50% of your business through drive-thru, that's easy. There's no overhead. There's very little overhead, right? When you're talking about the third-party delivery companies, which everybody likes to beat up on, but eventually a sandwich, when a sandwich becomes $18, we might finally find our limit on what customers will be willing to spend on for convenience of a third-party delivery, right? When a $9 sandwich costs double, that's where we're going to hit our limits, right? And so what is my other off-premise offering other than the third parties? And that's when you have to look at, is it curbside pickup, or is it some offering of drive-through? And if it's going to be a heavy part of your business, how do you maximize that part of your business through either speed, accuracy, and that's where technology comes in, hospitality technology and pieces like Delphi as well. Okay.
Yeah, and I would add to that as well that we see two kind of key trends in the next generation of drive-through. One is increased automation, and by that means a lot of things, but key to that is tight mobile integration, so that any off-premise orders can be directed properly either through the pickup area, the drive-through, or wherever the optimal way to serve that customer is in that specific location. Another area that we are very interested in developing solutions around is in the kind of voice activation or automated voice ordering. So, a completely automated drive-through where you're interacting with an AI system, ordering your product there, and be able to provide consistent upsell and really complementary product offerings in real time. So on the automation side, then the other is personalization. And so we're seeing that, what we see in the next generation drive-through is really when you have this one-on-one relationship with your customer in the drive-through that's somewhat unique, and you can, at that point in time using digital menus and other technologies, completely personalize that experience to that consumer so that you can give them the menu that makes sense to them, that meets their nutritional or taste requirements. You can give them upsell product opportunities that are actually products they'd be interested in, that fit their profile and their desires. So I think you're going to see more adoption of those kind of technologies moving forward. And the end goal is to really to serve more customers more efficiently and give them what they want, and ultimately they're going to spend more at your brand because of that.
That's exactly right. Yeah, these are not your first impressions. These are how your customers equate your brand in many ways, these digital engagements, and so that's certainly key as well. Well, thanks, Ken. So I will. So if you are interested in learning more about Drive Thru, you can email sales@Revel Systems as well, where we can have a qualified sales rep, somebody who's familiar with this product, reach out to you and talk to you a little bit more about it and try to put you in the best solution that we have. Ken Neal, his email is right here as well. Email him if you have any inquiries about Delphi, particularly the solutions that Delphi offers specifically. All right, so we have some questions in the chat room, I see.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Jay and Ken. We are now going to turn to questions from our audience. So if you haven't submitted yours yet, do go ahead and get them in. First question is, what are the keys to success when implementing Drive Thru Linebuster tablets?
Yeah, I think so. So a couple things. One, again, is a consistent menu. So a consistent user experience is what I kind of harped on a little bit. But I do really believe in that, right? Because oftentimes you can have, with different disparate technology solutions, you might offer something similar. Oftentimes it's maybe an integration with something, or it's a different interface oftentimes, and it creates a little bit of confusion and slows down. The second part is the networking part. So you need a good outdoor Wi-Fi network, right? You need to be able to figure out how far out you want to go with these things, how far out you want to take these mobile order takers, and also make sure you're working with somebody that can offer a payment device that works as well. If you're going to take the whole thing outside to off-premise in your parking lot, then you need to be able to take almost every bit of your technology that you have inside, outside with you as well. And you can even be a printer if you wanted to as well, either Bluetooth printer, Bluetooth card swipe, and a mobile order taker. Those things are typically how you deliver that. Now, also secondarily, fulfillment through online ordering potentially. This could be a curbside pickup feature that you offer as well, where you're talking about constant communication to your customers about the progress of the order and when they should arrive, right? And the customers then are letting you know when they have arrived. That's very helpful in these sorts of situations as well, where you're talking about fulfilling these orders off-premise, inside, basically off-premise but on-site is the best way to look at that, I think, as well. So the technology is there. One thing to check out as well is making sure that it's reliable, meaning that no network's perfect. Maybe make sure that what you're working with, like something like Revel, where, if it goes offline, everything still works. You can still send orders to the kitchen. Even if your internet signal is not great, everything still works, and you can even do store and forward if you had to as well in the case of emergency. So that's really key. Making sure your operations, if you're going to move your operations to off-premise or outside, making sure that it works is really key, and making sure that you can still offer the very same experience that if someone were to walk to the counter.
Okay, our next question is, how could you support a franchise with many international presence or regions with hardware installation and support?
Ken, I'm going to leave that to you, because I know you have a big international presence and all that.
We have. Yeah, I'm happy to address that one. We have a national network for the U.S., North America, of installers, and then networks of partners in country. Today we're in 76 or 77 countries out there. We have in-country partners that install and support our equipment throughout Southeast Asia, South Africa, Latin America, Mexico, Canada, and parts of Europe. So internationally, we work through partners, and domestically, we have a network here that we work with in all 50 states that can help install and support equipment locally.
And same here, Revel. We work with
question there?
web. Yeah. I think so. Yeah, I mean, same
Go
thing
ahead.
with Revel. We work with a network of resellers as well, or partners around the globe that can assist with the install of the Revel product ultimately as well. So.
Okay, the next question is regarding specifically the digital menu feature. This attendee would like to know if it's already in place and tested.
Oh yes, we have hundreds of installations around the United States. We're not doing a lot international yet with that product because of the size of that and moving it around. But we have installations all around the United States. We have a cloud-based content management system, and to the point earlier, it's in multiple languages, so customers can use that easily to update, schedule content, integrate with menu systems for pricing and other systems, data feeds and live feeds to drive content dynamically. So that is something we've been offering. We launched our first product in 2006, and we're launching our third generation product as we speak, which is what we believe to be the kind of predominant solution in the industry today that customers are looking for from a performance and price perspective.
Okay, let's see. We do have one attendee who would like to see your contact info again, so I'm going to push that slide to the fore. Okay, next question. Are the Delphi timers integrated with POS to help with more accurate speed of service reporting?
Yes, they are, and it depends on the point of sale system. What was that?
Go ahead, Ken. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, yes, it actually depends on the point of sale system, but for the point of sale systems that provide that integration option, we can absolutely correlate the orders with speed of service and give you kind of that above store reporting on sales and speed of service. And to the extent we can do that, then we can also, help customers compete and rank stores based on sales or LTOs per hour, along with various speed of service metrics. But again, it depends on the point of sale system. So if you send us some information, we can get back to you on what's available with your specific point of sale and what we can do for you going forward.
Okay, we have a bit of a multi-part question here. I hope I'm reading this correctly. How will Delphi and ways to edit the menu appear from the back end of Revel? Would it be an option in custom menus like online ordering is? And can you track inventory of product through drive-through sales?
Okay,
so
maybe Jay, we can both jump in. Yeah, why don't you start, Jay?
Yeah.
And I'll add to that.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Yes, I mean, so basically as your pricing and menus change, I mean, we're sending that order to the confirmation board as the order's being placed, so that helps with speed of service and all that. Now, as far as inventory goes, yeah, I mean, we have our Revel's native inventory application gives you, you can also look at performance. If you're talking about performance by dining type, so you can see if you're seeing what items are moving through the drive-through, you can do that. If you're talking about custom menus by order type, as well, we can sort of do some things with those things. We're trying to limit what people can, maybe on the POS station itself, like the drive-through POS. If we're trying to limit what can be rung in on that and what can be shown either through the digital linear board or through the POS onto the order confirmation board, we can do all this. That's if we're talking about streamlining it, where we're talking about limiting menus, meaning that you don't offer your entire menu, we can do that.
Yeah, and I would add there's really kind of three integration points with Revel that we can provide. And one is, as Jay mentioned, the order confirmation. That's kind of the real-time transactional information out to the menu point. The other is the pricing integration. So any price change that's made in the point of sale will be reflected on the menu boards, indoor and outdoor, immediately. So you don't have to maintain two separate systems there. And then thirdly, as Jay alluded to, we have integrating with the production management system, can overlay pricing with kind of a sold out or any kind of message you want if there's price that's or that's product that becomes out of stock. An additional functionality would be that if you have extra product that, if you're in a brand where you have product that's made ahead of time and has an expiration date, you can do things like discount that product before expiration to minimize your waste there, or discount product that you want to move quicker for specials, things like that. And that can be all integrated with the point of sale, so you're managing it from one interface, not having to deal with two separate systems.
Okay, next question. Where can we find specifications and or manuals for the integrations?
So at Revel, you can look at our support site, which is support.revelsystems.com as well. And actually, one of the things we did here was we wanted to make this very simple. Delphi has their, from an installation standpoint, understanding what they're going to install, from either from an IP address, et cetera. From Revel, it's from someone from support can just turn it on. It's a click of a button, essentially. You drop down list and we click it, and then at that point, a particular terminal will just start sending that information out to Delphi and looking for the board as well. So we want to make sure this was pretty low impact and pretty easy to use. But yeah, you can post that. You can also be on support.revelsystems.com, which I might be able to get in the chat before we go here.
Yeah, same here. We have a set of documentation for integrating with various systems. And if you reach out to us, we can point you in the right direction for that. There's various levels of integration depending on what your type of solution is, from integrations we've done in the past to latest kind of REST-based integrations for all of our products. So just reach out to us and we'll find the right person to put you in contact with and get you the information you need to integrate on our end.
Can you 86 an item from the drive-through menu board through the Revel POS?
Yeah, as I just mentioned earlier, if there's a product that's out of stock, we can identify that immediately and then overlay like a sold out or something on the pricing so that customers don't order that, or remove it entirely from the menu depending on the functionality that's desired. So that's fairly straightforward as long as we can get access to the information that tells us that the product is sold out. And Jay, you may have some additional information on how you might respond to that in real time too, if a customer wants to do that on their end.
Yes, our menu APIs. Yeah, it can be sent.
Okay, next question. We're still new to drive-through because our building isn't designed to accommodate it today. What would you recommend implementing as a good starting point?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it really depends on your footprint, right? Of course. I mean, like I said, I looked at before. We have this certainly at Revel. We have that's hundreds of customers who are using drive-through. You can start with the Linebusters and work your way through. Speed of service timers. If you're looking at the footprint, if you're able to get some data around how you're performing, I think is really key. And I can relate to that a little bit or speak more to it as well. But you can start with the basics and work your way there, depending on the volume that you're going to drive through or going to drive through as well. So Linebusters tend to help as well, even if incorporated with a digital menu board and a speaker box. If you're trying to do something simple and easy to start, those things really do help. Yeah, that's not hard to implement either.
Yeah, I think we've seen customers that are asking that exact question, and they've just literally built like a service window and had people drive up to it and take orders, face to face and deliver out of that window, and then expand, start building a lane behind that where they can queue up customers, and then start putting the order point behind that and grow from there. So I think a lot depends on the real estate you have to work with. And if you can do any kind of rearrangement of that, sometimes people are allocating some parking space to drive through as long as it still complies with the requirements that they need to maintain. But a lot of them, if your dining room space is being minimized, you have less need for on-site parking. You can allocate some of that for the drive-through. But really, a lot of it just depends on how the store is laid out, what kind of room you have to work with. But again, if you have questions on that directly, we can work with you to work on your layout and suggest some opportunities for you to start, and then maybe you can grow from there.
Okay, Ken, what has been Delphi's most popular add-on since the start of the pandemic, and can you share any related results?
What is that? Can you repeat the first part of the question? My phone dropped out for a second.
Sure. The question is, what has been Delphi's most popular add-on since the start of the pandemic? And then can you share any related results?
Yeah, I think it's been increased. Well, we've seen just increased demand for drive-through technology in general, but we've seen more emphasis on cloud solutions. So we have a product called Score that is our, I mentioned earlier, that's kind of a leaderboard that gives a manager, owner, regional manager access to all of his stores in a specific group in real time. They can see how they're performing on a number of metrics. And there's also available dashboard you can show inside the store to show the store how it's competing against the other stores in their group. We've seen those kind of solutions really be adopted quicker since the managers can't necessarily move around, get around to sites, having to do everything more remotely. Those cloud solutions have been particularly of interest as of late. And then digital menus we see, again, being involved in just about every conversation we have now with customers. So there's kind of the big trends are in digital menus and cloud solutions around timing and other things around those solutions where they can just do more remotely and get a better grasp on how things are performing in real time, rather than waiting for kind of a report the next day. But they want to be able to address kind of bottlenecks in operations right away, and then have the tools to be able to do that.
Okay, next question. How do I go about adding some of these drive-through services through Revel?
Yeah, you can reach out to your Revel sales rep, or you can contact Delphi. If we're talking specifically around Delphi, if you're looking to incorporate their solutions, the integration is there. So essentially, I'd probably go through Ken so they can talk about what might be the best solution to fit for your business, and then from there, Revel can help from the support and setup standpoint as well. I think. Ken, I think that works, right?
Yep, sounds great.
Okay, it looks like we probably have time for one more question here, and it is, what does a typical drive-through order flow look like when integrated with the Revel POS?
Yeah, so well, for the Revel standpoint, so from our standpoint, you could do a number of different ways in which you want to incorporate your drive-through. But if you're doing a traditional maybe order taker and payment taker setup, that works. And then of course the headsets, the speaker box. What's integrated is the order confirmation board as well. At that point, right? If you're going to incorporate, we send all the order data to the order confirmation board to allow the customer to see what you're actually typing in on the POS while they're ordering. Of course, for accuracy and then speed, much in the same way you would see from some of these larger brands that have been using Delphi Solutions for a while as well. So that's what we'd want to do. That's what we do.
All right. So that is all the time we have today. If we did not get to your question, we will certainly do our best to follow up with you offline. And I'd like to say a big thanks to Revel Systems for making this program possible, to our audience for attending, and of course to Jay and Ken for sharing their insights. As we mentioned at the top of the program, this session was recorded, and you will receive an email letting you know when that recording is available. Thanks again, and have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.